The views and opinions expressed by participants in the following public affairs program do not necessarily reflect the position or beliefs of WDEF or its staff.
This is Point of View, celebrating a world record-breaking 62 years of quality public affairs programs from the studios of WDEF News 12, Chattanooga.
Welcome to Point of View. I'm Donna Christian Lowe today, alongside Dr. David Banks and Renita Johnson. Today we're talking about when family members get too close. Touchy topic, but necessary. Thank you both for joining me today. Renita, thank you for coming.
Yes,
and thank you, Dr. Banks.
It's a pleasure.
Not a topic that I look forward to, obviously, but it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. So your book, The Attic. Right. Renita, tell us what made you write a book. You are a victim of abuse, so what made you write a book about it?
The reason why I really wrote the book, it was a point of healing. And the next reason why I wrote the book was simply that I wanted my grandchildren to always hear my voice and to know that my story represents a great form of healing, and anything they went through in their life, if their grandmother made it through, then they could.
When you talk about this, though, you gave birth to a child of your brother-in-law who abused you.
Exactly.
So how does one comprehend that and move forward?
Well, I was so young, and at the time, Donna, I had to just push it back in the back of my mind.
How old were you, for those that, we're going to make sure they know about the book, but how old were you?
I was 14 years old at the time. And because I love my sister so much, I just thought that it would be better if I just buried it and just held on to the memories in the back and then just manifested a story of something else going on, so I wouldn't have to ruin her family. So I took all that upon myself as a young person.
Well, a lot of research tells us, Dr. Banks, that this happens. Families get too close, family members, but it's those that we really know.
Yes.
Are there signs? And tell us your credentials. I know them, but for the viewers, what are your credentials, Dr. Banks?
Yes, I have a PhD in counseling in emphasis in marriage and family.
And your business is called?
Noble Success.
Noble Success. So tell us, are there signs that we know we can look for?
There are some subtle signs that a person can really show if they're quiet, they're reserved, or if someone is trying to give them a positive expression, a hug or maybe a kiss on the cheek, they kind of withdraw back from that. So little subtle signs that people, family members can see to let them know, they're withdrawn. Those are signs to let them know, something is really not going well. Because a child's supposed to be happy and upbeat and excited. But when they're withdrawn, also in school, they're not doing well in school, eating or not eating. All of those are symptoms to let a family member know, something is not right.
So thank you. So Renita, did you do you remember any of those things? Like, did you revert? Did you kind of go to your own self? What happened? Do you remember what you started doing at that time? How did you respond to this?
Mine was anger. Mine was just very angry, just acting out, fighting in school, just, a tyrant, just mad all the time.
Well, you're certainly sweet now.
Healing has come.
So how did that healing come for you, though?
For me, it was a process. Healing is always a long process. It took a lot of love from people. And I had girlfriends and different people. I did have counseling once I was older. And then definitely the love of God. I could never, leave that out of my story.
And you and I talked about that, God being your focus. But for the viewers, there may be those who say, God doesn't work for me.
Right.
That's not my path. So, Doctor, when that's the case, what are other avenues to take? We only have 8 minutes, but I really want to get some information to our viewers.
Well, I think something, having an outlet to get it out. Either through writing, talking with somebody, because holding it in is only hurting you deeply. So having an outlet to be able, I need to get this out. Journaling or confiding in someone to be able to get it out, crying it out, talking it out. Because what happens if a person keeps it in, if not careful, they start thinking, well, maybe I've done something.
And that's what I heard in my research.
Exactly.
Talking to a few people who weren't comfortable coming on the show, and I thank you that you were. they said, I still don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I still hold some of that in, and you're saying that's just not healthy.
It's not healthy. So it's important that they understand, I need to get this out. And after I get it out, I need for someone to let them know it's not their fault. Regardless of what you thought you've done to allow this to happen, it is not your fault.
So this story is really big. I mean, you actually had your daughter
I did.
from the brother-in-law.
Right.
Now, he passed, correct?
Right, he
And
did.
he passed of cancer?
Of cancer.
And then
right.
your daughter passed later.
The
of
same cancer, yes.
So you are a unique case. The addict finding the treasure in your tragedy is, wow, that's an understatement.
Right.
But how have you moved on in your latter years? What has been the strength, and how have you said, I'm going to do this? What are those things you've done to be successful?
Well, for me, what I had to do was I had to believe in God, number one, like I said, and then I had really good people around me to help me. I laid down goals and aspirations for myself. I decided, you know, to do positive thinking. You have got to fall in love with
I
yourself.
see you shaking your
over
head, so
again
this
and
is
again.
it, right?
Renita's she's doing absolutely what you need to do to move forward.
Right.
And I know personally, Renita, and
Because you two work together.
yes,
Right?
Yes.
And I think the great thing about her, she's a giver, and you know she loves to give to other people. And I think through that process, as the
That's
things you
therapeutic
shared,
for her.
It is.
knowing that she can really impact the lives of other ladies, children, she's doing exactly what needs to happen.
Now, on the flip side of this, there are people who don't have resources. There are viewers right now looking at this story saying, this is great and this is fine. Now, you and I know your deep story.
Right.
And resources weren't always there.
Exactly.
So for the viewer that's tuned in, both of you can answer. They don't have the funds. They don't even have insurance. How do they get that help?
Well, I think sometimes, yes, there is a professional help, but also, you know, if it's a church member that they can confide in, definitely this is a deep scar, a deep wound, but there are various places, you know, church, other organizations that they can really tap into, as well as, you know, some great counselors that would truly, you know, really help them through this process. As she said, it is a process.
Yes.
It's not an overnight thing. But the first thing, Donna, they have to come to terms with, I need to talk about it.
And that it's okay to talk about
It's
it.
okay.
It is not your fault.
Right.
Again, the research,
Right.
you were the only one that I spoke with that actually felt good because most of them are still in this.
Yes, yes.
So I think letting them know you can move forward, it
Right.
doesn't cost money, and you
Right.
are not the one at fault.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now, you have some goals that you have set to get this book out there, so I'm thankful that you're here today to talk about the book. Dr. Banks is here to give that therapeutic side and that professional side, but we got about a minute to wrap up.
Okay.
What are your next steps in the book? If people want to find this book, how can they contact you?
The book is, you can go to Lady J Helps.
Lady J Helps, HELPS.com.
.com.
Okay.
And you also, we're going to start in January, the second week in January, on a Tuesday night, we're going to start back putting the book together where we can be hands-on with women or people that needs help.
Well,
And
let
we
me
have
know.
them
I'd like to
today.
be a part. As I'm reading the book now, I'm not through, but we want to make sure they have help. Can they reach, if someone's out there and says, I need to talk to someone, can they reach you?
Yes, you
Okay,
can
and
reach
what's your
me.
email address?
The email is Lady J Helps, www.ladyjhelps.com. There is a segment that says, I want to talk.
Okay.
Just mash that, put in your information, and we will gladly get back in touch with you.
Wonderful. Dr. Banks, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Renita. Good luck on your book.
All right.
So stay tuned right now for Point of View. Up next, Nikki Nicholson talks about I've done my time, now what? Women in prison.
My name is Nikki Nicholson, and welcome back to Point of View. Well, I've done my time, so now what? That is a common question asked of many women who have gone through the prison system. Joining me today is my special guest, Vivian Freeman and Laura Lyles. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I know this is a touchy subject, so we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to start with you, Laura. So you spent 3.5 years,
4 years.
4 years in the prison system.
Yes, I spent about 4 years total time out at Silverdale.
And I'm sitting here looking at you now. Both of you are upstanding citizens in the city of Chattanooga, so this, I just want to go ahead and just congratulate you too. But going back to you,
Yes,
you spent 4 years. You've written a book,
correct.
and the name of your book again is
Walking down a street named Grace.
Walking Down a Street Named Grace.
Yes.
And you've also started your own ministry,
Yes.
which is Faith House for Women.
Yes, that's a ministry that I no longer have. I turned it over to Transformation Project back in 2008, I believe it was 2008. And I turned it over after we had been in operation for about a year and a half. And I had started that basically because there's just hardly any recourse for women today when it comes to halfway houses, re-entry houses, for women who are coming out of the jail system.
When you say today, now when you were in jail, when you were in prison, when was it that you came out? 2007?
2004.
2004.
Yes.
That was the last time. So from back then until now, has there been any change?
There's been just a little bit. There are a couple of houses I know of through the Oxford House system. There are some others through a couple of the churches and ministries that we have, but they're always full. They're very small. They're just not enough for the women that are in need.
In need, exactly. And as we've talked and I've done my research, they sent you all the way to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yes, I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico for a grand total of 2 weeks, and it was basically because I got out there and I had to think about what the program was. It's the reentry programs are basically so that you can learn how to keep a job again, learn how to pay your bills, learn how to start living on your own again.
And you had to go all the way to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
There was nothing here for me. There was nothing available.
Now there's many halfway houses, many in the city of Chattanooga and surrounding areas, but I've learned that there's limited halfway houses here.
Right.
Do you have any knowledge of why?
Well, I think it's because women are a lot harder to work with. Women are very intricate people.
Emotional, you'd say?
Emotional. We're hormonal.
Yes.
We have a lot of issues that are very. Basically, they're very intricate.
Intricate. Well, can you tell me how you got connected with Miss Vivian Freeman?
Well, I met Miss Vivian. She was in ministry through prison ministry, and she came into the jail out at CCA and was teaching the Word of God. And I decided to follow God at that time and decided that I wanted to live a life, a real life.
A real life. I'm going to
Yes.
go ahead, that is beautiful, and speak to you, Vivian. So what inspired you to join this prison ministry?
Well, what really inspired me, being in prison, we would have ladies to come in and teach the Word, and it was very encouraging. So when I was released, I never thought I would go back into the prison system, but the Lord led me there to witness, and my church, New Covenant, had a ministry, and that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, now, again, prison system. Can you tell me what brought you to and through the prison system?
I was in a real bad abusive relationship, and the person was injured with a firearm, so I was sentenced 6 years and a day in the Women's State Penitentiary.
So you were sent to jail for protecting yourself and your children?
Yes, I was protecting myself and my children, and I was in my own home.
In your own home?
Right.
Here in the city of Chattanooga?
Yes.
Here in the city of Chattanooga. Well, can you tell me, were there any setbacks as far as looking for work when you came out?
Yes, it was really hard for employment because, you want to be open and honest about everything. And I would always, write it on my application. At that time, it was applications. I was convicted felon, and I was always rejected. So it got to the point where I didn't get discouraged because I'm a strong-willed person, and I was given a chance in the dental field.
In the dental field. Well, if you knew of any young woman or man out there who just have come to the prison system and they really want to do well in life, they want to strive, they may have children, what advice would you give them?
The advice I would give them is don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Keep trying. And just like Lori and myself, we're getting together and we're going to try to open a house for transitional for women when they're released, where they have a place to stay. We're helping with employment, things of that nature.
Now, you said going to try. What are the things that you may need to turn that try into we are going to
Well, I
have
put it
this?
like this, we're going to.
Yes.
Lori,
All right.
Lori has the experience.
All right, so
Yeah.
this is amazing. And I just want to encourage you women to keep talking to people, keep letting people know and sharing so that they'll be aware, you know. There's women out there that go through the prison system and no matter what they may have done, you know, they come out needing a second chance.
Right.
You've served your time, you know, so now what? I say let's give you a second chance.
Exactly.
Let's give you a second chance. So both of you had children during this process. How was that on your children?
It was very hard on my child. He had to live with his grandmother. And of course, they didn't tell him a lot because I was in and out of jail. I would do well for a while, and then I'd go back to the old lifestyle because I didn't know how to live sober. You know, I was unable to learn because I didn't have anywhere to go.
So what would you say as far as what you would think would help the children? And we're going to have to wrap this up soon. I'm sorry, but what would help the children who are going through something like that? This question is for you, Vivian.
Oh, for me, what would
Yes.
help? I think being honest with your
Being
child, letting them know exactly what's going on if they're at that age where you can explain them to them. Because I never lied to my kids about anything. And I'm proud to say that my son graduated from Tuskegee University. My daughter, 22 years, served in U.S. Army. So being honest and open with them, I think, really helped my children.
Being honest and open. Well, that being said, I want to thank you two for coming and being my guest. I'm proud to have you on my show.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for our next segment on Point of View, where Naira will talk about holiday food and what to do with the leftovers.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Thank you for tuning back in. I'm Nayara Cancel. You know, we're in the holiday season, so what do we do with all those leftovers when we're tired of eating the same thing? Here, joining me today is Erwin Ovaya from Ovaya's Catering to help me just with that problem. Thank you so much for joining us today, Erwin.
Thank you for having me today.
Now, you are the man, so we have one of the greatest here, and you are a great cook, I know by experience. We tend to overeat during the holidays, but we also tend to overcook.
That's
what
correct.
happens when we don't want to eat the same plate of food for 5 days?
You know, the holidays are right around the corner, and of course, we ended up with a lot of leftovers in the refrigerator. So today I'm here to help you to utilize how to use your food.
All right, so you have some things that look just like my Thanksgiving table, you know, mashed potatoes, cornbread, and some turkey, and it smells delicious already here, so.
You know, these are some of the most common leftovers that we have: smashed potatoes, turkey, some stuffing. So today I'm going to show you how to, I guess, recreate those dishes and share it with the rest of the family.
All right, well, let's get started because I'm getting hungry just looking at this.
Okay, so we want to start with the mushrooms, stuffing mushrooms. And basically,
that's a play on words there.
Yeah, basically I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
A little bit of onions, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Parsley.
That looks good.
Some cheddar cheese.
The good thing is that these are all ingredients that you may already have leftovers, not just the food, the dishes, but you may have onions and parsley and cheese and oil at the house. So it's not like you have to go out to the store to get additional things, right?
Yeah, that's correct. We are trying to utilize what we have in the refrigerator again, and also what we have in the pantry. So this, we already have like a delicious food. The thing is like I say, put them together again and just present them in a different way.
And I know that for the love of time, we have a finished dish, but please tell us how you actually stuff them.
You basically just stuff them after you mixed everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could do like a couple in there.
Sure, I'll help you.
Meanwhile.
And what do you do with them after you stuff them?
Meanwhile, I have here the finished product.
Ooh, those look amazing.
And again, what we are using is like the stuffing that
Do
we
you bake
already have
these?
leftovers, of course.
And for how long and at what temperature?
It's going to be about 50 minutes because everything's already cooked.
15?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are using your delicious food that you already have in the refrigerator, so it's already cooked. It's just basically 15 more minutes to...
Oh, those are amazing. I can have the whole pan.
Okay, so moving on.
What's the next great
The next
dish?
great thing, we want to utilize your smashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
And what we're going to do is, just let me get something. We're going to add a little bit of eggs.
Eggs? How many eggs?
I have 3 eggs in here.
And about how much mashed potato? Like that 3 to 4
This
cups?
is like, yeah, exactly. I have like 4 cups here to be exactly.
Okay.
Then I have a little bit of, I have the Mexican cheese in here.
Mexican mixed cheese?
Mixed cheese, yeah. Green onions. If you want, you can add some bacon. In this case, I'll add it.
Okay.
You mix everything together.
I can help you mix if you like. Oh, we put it in a pan, do we?
Yeah.
Here, let me get this out of the way for you.
Because we want to put it in the oven for a few minutes.
Okay.
And if you can just help me with a couple in here.
Okay. So after you mix it, we put it in a muffin pan?
That's correct.
Okay.
And they go straight to the oven.
All right. Do we have to grease the muffin pan?
You don't have to.
Okay. That is even better.
To make it easy, here's the final product, basically, after you cook them. You can add a little bit of sour cream to them.
And you don't have to put bacon, or you can tweak the recipe to, if you're allergic to something, of course.
This is the beauty about cooking. You can create your own dishes and the way you want it. So.
Well, I'm going to try and grab one of these real fast so everyone can see the finished product. These are great little muffins, and it looks like you have put some bacon bits into it on top to decorate them. That looks amazing, very moist. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells amazing in the studio.
And like I say, we are using just mashed potatoes. So what I'm trying to give you some ideas so you don't have to rethink again and just invite people and you utilize your great food that you already have in the refrigerator.
So it's good if not only that you don't have to go get ingredients at the store, but if you have people just drop in by the house, you can fix this quickly.
That's correct.
For like a cocktail or just an appetizer, right?
Yeah. So moving on, we're going to make tortilla soup, but it's going to be a turkey tortilla soup.
Okay, I'm going to move over here.
So you can utilize your turkey again.
Because I want to be a little closer to the action.
Exactly. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
Of course, onions.
All right.
I like to add a little bit of spices and a little bit of chipotle to give some smoky flavor to it.
Yeah, I can smell the chipotle. And what temperature? Like medium high, medium?
I would say medium to start because this is your base, so you want to make sure that everything is like very cooked and very slowly cooked.
Okay, here,
And
I'll
then-
help you out.
And then add the black beans, some tomatoes, and of course, since we are trying to get rid of that
That
turkey,
huge turkey.
he will add some little bit of turkey. And here we have the tortilla soup.
Tortilla soup. And then
Yeah.
once it's done, it looks like this. Once again, for the love of time, we have
Turkey tortilla soup.
turkey tortilla soup. We have already placed it on a bowl. We have a finished product. Erwin, is any of this freezable? Because we end up with so many leftovers, even when we have secondary dishes. Is any of this something that we can put in a Ziploc bag, or we can wrap it up and then just pop it out of the freezer?
Yes, definitely. Like I said, we're trying to use the food that you have in the kitchen. So what we can do is basically recreate them and reuse them, and just add your own twist. And it's going to taste completely different. Never going to notice that you are using dishes that you had for Thanksgiving. So.
And I know that you had mentioned that we can also bake some of the cornbread and maybe pour it on top of the tortilla soup, kind of like croutons.
Of course.
That sounds amazing. Erwin, we want to thank you so much for coming in and tell us what we can do with all of these holiday leftovers and how we can make them new again. We urge you to tune into our Facebook page and look at some of the recipes that Erwin will leave there for us, and so you don't forget about what was in the ingredients for today's dishes. Thank you so much for tuning into Point of View. Please come back next week.
Closed captioning provided by the following.
Funding for this program is brought to you by Barnett & Company, specializing in tax-efficient strategies for the preservation and distribution of family wealth, offering continuous investment management with a focus on long-term strategies. Areas of service include investment, estate, education, and retirement planning. Barnett & Company, the power of compound returns over time. More information can be found on the web at barnettandcompany.com.